This is my absolute favourite day in the school calendar. If you've not been to a Celebration of Achievement Award, this is very different, because normally we are at the Baptist Church in Stockton. We've got the band, we've got all the award winners from every single year group. We've got some really inspirational stories from the students who are now in year 12 who win these big awards here, and you might have heard those in assembly this week. So we get those amazing, inspiring stories to give you something to really aim for during your time at Conyers. And we have all of our teachers celebrating with you. Now, obviously, we can't do that. We can't even mix the year groups, which is why we're keeping James, who's going to do the story for us today, why he's at such a distance, because we're keeping everybody really separate. But it's my favourite day in the school year because we are celebrating what is wonderful about Conyers. We're celebrating your achievements in the classroom and in the sporting field and in terms of your creative writing. And it's been a very strange year because we locked down and closed school for the majority of students on the 20th of March. But such was the amazing work that happened up to the 20th of March and then after the 20th of March that we decided that we would definitely have a Celebration of Achievement evening, because actually you all kept working for a full academic year. And because you'd achieved so much, we felt able to celebrate with the usual awards, although not in the usual way. And as I said to you earlier, we're recording our celebration this afternoon, and that will be made available to your parents so that although they can't be there and be with us and be super proud and smiling and cheering, they actually can see and enjoy that with you. So let's begin with the awards for achievement, the D.H. Hurd Awards for Achievement. And these were created in 1925. 95 years we've been celebrating with D.H. Hurd Achievement Awards. And these go to the students whose achievements in the eyes of staff are the most impressive. Not necessarily the highest grades. It might be for improving. It might be for trying your best. So the first winner of one of the Year 8 Achievement Awards, because it recognises your achievement last year, is Eddie Gowland. Remember, because there's not many of us, we've got to make our clapping super enthusiastic, okay? Well done. The next Achievement Award goes to Max Hewling. Max is not with us today. The third one, Natsumi Lim. Done. The next one, Robert Lim. Well done. And final award, Grace Martin. Very well done. Now we're going to hear the winning entry in our 500 words competition, a story called Our Land by Eddie Gowland. And James is going to read the story for us before we present the award. And James, I will say, is getting one of our big, prestigious awards later this afternoon. So James, do you want to come over here and read the story?
Our land was pure and old, a community living off the land, thousands of years undisturbed. We heard tales of modern worlds, buildings that scraped the very sky itself, and the mysterious force called electricity that would fuel many automatic machines, like the water fueled our mills. But we stayed in our ways. We did not let the people of the cities intervene. The land here belonged to us, as it had to our parents and all the parents before them. Our haven of green was an oasis amid the crumbling world around us. We knew of war and climate change and the extinction of entire species. The trees of our rainforest defended us with ancient powers, as they had protected our ancient ancestors when their powers were new. 1,000 generations were torn down in a single day. Our great trees fell to mighty machines, an abomination that made me ashamed to class myself as the same species as those monsters. We knew something was wrong when the dawn broke and the many animals began their daily routine, except they didn't. The silence was louder than any howl of monkey. The only sign of our animal friends was a few chimpanzees frantically swinging through the trees. The chimpanzees were soon followed by a cloud of acrid smoke. It choked the clouds and tarred the sun. A shadow fell upon day, a shadow that would never lift, as it was to be followed by monstrosities that even the chains of hell could not restrain. A low growling rumble that shook ground like thunder, rocks. The air fell all around the rainforest. In every direction there was the roaring of a mortar. Even the proudest, the most feared lion would back down to the onslaught of noise. People were growing worried. Never before had something like this interrupted our haven. People thought that this was the end of the world, and the gods were sending earth the worst beings from the underworld to punish us for our sins. They were partially right. They were the worst beings from the underworld. Great murderous battle machines were approaching our village. They tore down the oldest trees. They tore down the youngest trees. They had no regard for life. They had no respect for the age-old trees. No one came to protect us, and we could not protect ourselves or the trees because we were a peaceful community and had no need for weapons. People in strange clothes came out of huge monsters when we stood in front of the trees, protecting them with our lives as they had protected us for over 1,000 years. They did not speak our language, but they waved their hands wildly, indicating for us to move. My father shook his head again. They wanted us to move. More people shook their heads. Then they shouted at us in their strange tongue, and we all shook our heads. We would protect the trees.
Well done. Beautifully read, James, and what a wonderful story, Eddie. So please, Eddie, come forward to receive your prize for the short story competition. We'll now move on to the Sports Award, and first of all, we'll look at those sportsmen and women whose sporting achievement have taken them beyond Conyers. And we begin with national level. And amazingly, in Year 9, we have 4 athletes who are competing at a national level, which is incredible. So, first, Gymnastics and Maisie Fixter. We have 2 swimmers competing at national level. The first one, Jessica Scott. Second, Tatenda Tienga. And in tumbling, competing at national level, Alicia Bunting. Well done. Some of our athletes have gone beyond school level to represent the district, and in football, Matthew Simpson. Well done. And in rugby, 2 district representatives, Kosei Tanaka and second, Jack Wally. And our final awards are for regional representation in acrobatics and tumbling. First, Emily Clark. And our final award, also for acrobatics and tumbling, goes to Esther Young. Well done. So that's our awards finished. Thank you so much. Thank you for all of your efforts last year, whether the school was open or during lockdown. You worked really, really hard. And obviously, Year 9, this year is absolutely crucial because this is the year in which you will choose your option subjects and start preparing yourself for your GCSE courses. So this is probably your most important year to date at Conyers, and a year in which you'll be making some big decisions. So I hope all of you continue and do as well as you've done this year. My final job is to thank all of the people who've made this such a lovely part of our day-to-day, a lovely part of our afternoon. I'd like to thank Mrs. Patterson and Mr. Plowes, who organised the whole thing. I'd like to thank the tech team for all of their support. I'd like to thank Mr. Smith for keeping us going in the right order and it all running very smoothly, and Mrs. Hudson, who's come along to take photographs. So thank you very much. Don't forget to get your parents to have a look at this so that they can celebrate with you at home. And maybe, because you've done so well, they might decide that you're maybe worthy of a treat or a reward, because I certainly think you are. So very well done.